Tony Khan now owns Ring of Honor, Sam.
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
Holy fuck!
Stick.
Oh my god!
Khan is the new owner of Ring of Honor after announcing the acquisition on AEW Dynamite. A press release was sent out that Khan had purchased the company from Sinclair Broadcasting Group. Included in the deal, Holy Mother of Jesus, is Ring of Honor's entire video library, brand assets, intellectual property, production equipment, and more. The press release states that the purchase will be completed through an entity that is wholly owned by Tony Khan. It also said that further details regarding the extent of the acquisition will be announced in the coming weeks. The press release says, and I quote, Ring of Honor's influence on modern professional wrestling is etched permanently in the history books, and this acquisition ensures that its legacy will be kept alive and treated with the utmost respect. Now, here's the interesting things that, as my phone tells me that bad things are happening in the world. Stop, phone! So basically, the things that probably still need answering are, A, will Ring of Honor still be on Sinclair? Because it sounds like Joe Koff's still the chief operating officer of the company, but in any acquisition, there's always sort of like a weird period of time where the old people are still there, and eventually they just kind of get kicked out, fuck off, or those two things. Like, for instance, the only thing I can equate it to, I suppose, would be UFC buying Strikeforce years and years and years ago, where...
Well, they bought Strikeforce, they bought, did they buy Pancras?
Well, they bought, like, Pride, but the difference between...
yeah, like a load of different little MMA little promotions.
Yeah, the difference between, like, say, Pride and Pancrast, or Pencrast, or Big Bread Crust, was because they still ran Strikeforce events under the Zuffa banner for some reason, and the events were not shit, but they weren't great in comparison to, say, UFC. So it's interesting to see in the future how long Ring of Honor will continue to run as it is, because can Tony Khan run two wrestling companies, a football club and a football club? Like, I don't understand, and a stats company. Like, maybe he can. Maybe he's just an insane lunatic that can run all these bloody things. I have no idea. But it'd be interesting to see if Ring of Honor then gets absorbed into AEW in some way, shape, or form. Like, will AEW Dark now just become Ring of Honor? Will it just become like a developmental brand or a feeder to AEW? How long will these Sinclair people last? Will they remain on the Sinclair stations? Will Tony Khan be like, I'm just going to find a different TV network? And ultimately, will it still exist? I mean, he says he's going to run it and run it like an actual second company, but I'm slightly dubious with that because I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can see him do that for is if it is a developmental brand for AEW. I know that you got AEW Dark and Dark Elevation and I don't know, AEW fucking cheese at this point, and there's a whole bunch of different supposedly developmental shows. I can see AEW Dark and Dark Elevation just going, and Ring of Honor just replaces it.
Well, this is the thing. There's like two distinct alleys that this can proceed down. It could be either like when the WWE purchased WCW and ECW, and then just absorbed all of those assets into itself, or it could just be that Tony Khan will keep Ring of Honor as Ring of Honor, and it will have its own separate roster. There'll probably be some crossover, because, Forbidden Door, but I feel like...
I fucking love doors!
I feel like it will just be a separate thing. It'll have its own little continuity, it'll have its own little brand identity, it'll just be Tony Khan that owns it, and then he'll be able to negotiate broadcast rights to whatever television channel will pick it up. Maybe Sinclair will keep it, maybe it'll go to somewhere else, but
God, I hope Sinclair go away.
They're not in the wrestling business.
They're not, and this is the thing. So
they're not in it for the betterment of wrestling, is what I mean.
No, and Tony is a wrestling fan, who, quite frankly, I'm just gonna be honest, he has infinite amount of money. Like
apparently, yes, we like to meme on it, but he literally just bought fucking Ring of Honor.
He just bought Ring of Honor. Like, what?
Unless he got it for like really cheap, and there have been rumblings of it being sold for like years now. I remember like a couple years back, it was rumored that Vince would buy it for some fucking reason, because for whatever reason, ever since 2001, everyone's just like, oh yeah, Vince will buy whatever fucking company he wants. He can do that. He's God. But no, I don't think so.
We have a new God now. His name is Khan.
Apparently so.
But this is the thing, like...
I think it's just going to be a separate thing. It's going to be like WWE and the XFL. Like, Vince owns, or owned at least, both of them, but they were entirely different. Just because they're both wrestling doesn't mean they have to, like, be absorbed or fucking just, you know. I think they're going to be different and separate.
I do hope that all the Sinclair elements are just gone. So, like, that crappy logo... I know a fan created it. You're a twat. It's one of the worst looking things I've ever seen in my life. Like, the Sinclair era is not going to be looked at fondly, I don't think. Like, it went from being very difficult beginnings of Ring of Honor because of trying to start a promotion and Rob Feinstein being a massive nonce, and then you've got, like... and then Carrie Silken takes over, and then it becomes good. Like, you've got, like, Punk versus Joe, and Bryan Danielson's a thing, and you've got, like, all this amazing stuff, and then it sort of just goes down the shitter when Jim Cornette comes in, which, surprise, surprise, the guy's a twat. Why do you think this thing was going to work? And then Sinclair buys it, which was apparently one of Jim's great ideas, and like... they went from being on HD net, which at the time HD was like this new thing, and everyone was like, "Ooh, it looks so nice." And then suddenly went on to Sinclair, which looked like something that was on dial-up. It was just like the worst. And then they were like, "Hey, Bullet Club, come on down. Hey, Cody, come on down. Hey, New Japan, come on down." And it was just like reliant on New Japan.
Oh yeah, every time there was like a New Japan Ring of Honor Super Show, you could guarantee that it would just be Ring of Honor talent laying on the mat for 3 seconds for all of the New Japan guys.
And that's the thing, like the boom in that Ring of Honor had when they had like AJ Styles and the Young Bucks and Cody and
Adam Cole
and all these people, right? That boom was mostly because you were getting fucking, I don't know what the correct terminology would be, but you were being completely you were the sub in this, and the fucking Dom was New Japan, and you're like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take it, why not? And then New Japan are like, nah, fuck this, we're doing our own thing, or we'll partner with AEW or anyone else on this planet that isn't shit. And then your great idea to try and counteract this was Matt Taven. Like, hello? Like, what is wrong with it? That's my point. The moment Sinclair and Jim Cornette came in, hell, even maybe when Adam Pearce came in, it all went wrong after that. And I pray to Jesus that Tony Khan is like, right, we're going back to how it was before all these fucking idiots took over, and we're going to just have pure wrestling as it was. But this is the other problem that Ring of Honor have got. Like, Ring of Honor, the style of wrestling that it had was like groundbreaking. It was like a cross between your New Japan and your I don't know, European style of wrestling, and they've transplanted that to North America and then toured like the UK and went overseas and shit. That was a unique style of wrestling at the time. Now, that Ring of Honor style, either because all the other companies hired all these bloody people, or all these people who wrestle in these companies are now road agents or producers, as WWE want to call them. Now everywhere does that style of wrestling. So the problem that Ring of Honor also have is not just Sinclair are fucking dumb as fuck. It's also because that style of wrestling is now just everywhere. It's now wrestling. It is what it is. So the biggest problem I think Tony is gonna have is trying to distinguish Ring of Honor from everything else, even his own main fucking company that he runs. So this is huge, and I hope this goes well, and I want it to go well, but I'm a bit dubious. And I'm dubious for that reason, and I'm dubious for how long this thing is going to run. Whilst AEW exists, I just can't see. That's why I think it's just going to be a feeder thing. I don't think it's going to be anything. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing necessarily, because if you have like Shane Strickland on Ring of Honor, fantastic, great, wonderful, superb, that's great. But like, I just don't see. I think people are thinking it's going to be like the biggest thing since, I don't know, ECW, where no, it's just going to be, this is just my side thing, and this is my baby AEW. I can't see this. I don't know. Maybe I'm cynical because I've been programmed for years to think that anything in wrestling, anything that could be good, becomes shit. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you agree, disagree, Samuel? Please speak. I've been ranting for about 5 minutes.
Honestly, my attachment to Ring of Honor lies purely within the talent that they feature. I was never really around for like the earlier days when they had the Code of Honor or the Pure Championship or anything like that. You have a lot more attachment to that than I ever will. But at the same time, I feel like there's a legacy there that needs to be preserved. So there's the option that it stays as its own thing, and it will definitely struggle to get a brand identity, as you've said, because the Ring of Honor style is just the style now, if you're not in WWE. So I think it would be a good idea if it was more integrated with Ring of Honor. AEW rather, not as like a subsidiary or like a developmental or something like that, but as a kind of like more like a Raw and a SmackDown and an ECW, I suppose. Like as shit as they like used the ECW branding for that show in 2009, the idea of that was basically a preliminary to NXT, where it was a third brand. It featured established talent like Matt Hardy and Christian and all the ECW originals who they had under contract at the time, but then it also had newer people like Sheamus and Zack Ryder and all the other people that came up through the New Talent Initiative.
Well, that's what NXT was at first.
Exactly, but
like, NXT was
AEW already has that role with Dark and Dark Elevation and even Rampage. Like, everything sort of feeds into Dynamite, but they do exist in their own little universes. So
yeah, I don't know how to. I
feel like they should create something where the Ring of Honor like brand and identity continues, but I feel like it should also use AEW talent as well. I don't know, maybe just AEW Ring of Honor or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know how to feel about the news. Like,
it's
I'm
only
like,
a good
wow,
thing
this is a big
because
deal.
they were clearly in dire straits before this.
Oh,
they released all of their talent. They went on hiatus. Like,
it makes me wonder, for how long has this been in the works?
Well, as I've said, I've heard rumblings of this for years now. Like as far back as maybe 2018, where they were like trying to get it sold off to somebody else. But
do you know the other thing that's pretty cray-cray about this news?
What's that?
Ring of Honor owned the rights to All In.
Did they really?
Yeah. It was
All
basically...
In. This was like the first event before AEW became a thing, right?
It was basically the reason why AEW exists today. Like, the reason why they had to call All Out and not All In is because Ring of Honor technically owned the rights to that event. Because I think Cody and Young Bucks and the rest of them, it was like they helped part of it, but in terms of the production and in terms of that side of things, I suppose, for lack of a better term, it was Ring of Honor, because they had that Ring of Honor commentator on it. What's his name? Greg. Is it Greg?
It's Greg for now. We'll call him Greg for now.
Fucking that guy, right? So that guy was
Greg for now.
Greg for now. Ring of Honor's Greg for now, right? Was one of the commentators for the show. And I was like, well, that's weird, because he's a Ring of Honor person. But it turns out it was like a Ring of Honor-y helped promoted event.
Oh yeah, because I guess the Bucks and Cody were both under Ring of Honor contract at the time, weren't they?
Yeah. So the other thing as well is, I don't think that event has ever been released on DVD. I don't think it's on any streaming services. It might be on Fight, I don't know.
Well, it will be now if it's not already.
It will be now. So yeah, I mean, I would love it. I mean, I pay for AEW Plus because I just don't want to see the ads. And also, I swear in the UK, there's parts of these shows that get cut out. And if by having AEW Plus, I can watch Punk versus Joe, Danielson versus McGuinness,
Homicide.
I mean, Joe and Kobashi, whatever.
Kobashi.
The point, you know what I mean? That's going to be amazing. The only issue, and this is the only other issue that they've got, Tony Khan is, I don't know, he's got infinite money, so this is the only thing I'm quite hopeful with an AEW Plus added thing, is Ring of Honor was a bit like ECW, where entrance themes were actual licensed songs. And they didn't care. They put them on DVD. They didn't give a shit. No one cared. No one gave a fuck. It wasn't until, like, Sinclair bought them out and they were like, oh, bollocks. What have you been doing for the past 10 years? Well, what we do is, hi, my name's Gabe Sapolsky. And what we do is we just play licensed songs and then we just release them on DVD and make money off the DVDs. It's like, that's kind of like, I don't know, illegal. Well, you can't really do that. So, like, I don't know how you're going to get round that. I mean, Tony Khan has infinite money. He could probably buy the entire, like, every song that's used on these DVDs. But, I don't know. I have no idea how he's going to get round that. I mean, because Sinclair would... the only good thing Sinclair did was they would, like, get bands to, like, create songs for the wrestlers and then actually have them licensed, like, and actually pay for them to be used. So, like, I remember, like, somebody had, I think Roderick Strong has, like, some fucking screamo shit. It was like, I wanna fucking eat your babies! And, like, something like that. And
I'd be terrified if you came to the ring.
And then, like, Roderick Strong's new song was just like, I was like, that's not the right song. That's a different song. What's that?
Well, New Japan does that also, where they'll have to change the themes, and it'll be the most weird, like, stocky, fucking, like, generic themes for guys. Like, you have fucking, you have Togi Makabe coming out to fucking Immigrant Song, and they're gonna dub it over with some weird, clearly not fucking immigrant song. And it just, I don't know. We've had to do it for Brawl as well, because Jay-Z is a fucking dickhead, and he doesn't allow people to listen to his music. What the fuck, Jay? Fucking Carter, what's wrong with you?
UFC are like that, though. Like UFC on the live broadcasts, you will have, like, any song played on the live broadcast. Soon as it goes on, like, Fight Pass, or on DVD, or Blu-ray, or whatever, it's just generic shit. Like, Brock Lesnar would come out to Enter Sandman, and I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Although I hate Brock. And then, and then on, like, the fucking, on the DVD or the Fight Pass, you'd be like, this is a song, like some shit knockoff. And you're like, for fuck's sake, Dana, you are a billionaire. Can you not just buy the fucking song?
No, he's not Tony Khan, clearly. Who bought he's bought a lot of songs, which is pretty decent, to be fair, because using licensed music just hits different. But I feel like we're tailing off a little bit here. Ring of Honor. I'm excited for what's going to come. I know you're a little bit cynical, and you probably have every right to be, but for me, I think it's going to be good, regardless. because it's
Oh no, this is one of those
another
times
superpower behind a fledgling company, which gives you an alternative to fucking WWE, which is something we desperately need. That's in an English language.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to fail, and this is one of those times where I actually want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong. Yeah, it's just I've been trained as a professional wrestling fan for the past How long have I been watching this for? So it's 2022. So I've been watching since like 2000. 22 years, right? I'm old, but I've been watching this for 22 years, and I'm still trained to think we can't have good things, Sam. That's the thing. I'm still trained. Even though AEW's existed for nearly 3 years, I'm still kind of like, can't have good things. You can't. It's like being in an abusive relationship, and I'm just like, they'll be good. It'll be good, and then it just turns out it's not good. But this is like the opposite. This is like, oh, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Oh, it's good. What? That's what wrestling's like in 2022. I wish the world was like that.
I, for one, feel very sorry for you. And you have my pity. But, more importantly, I think Ring of Honor is going to be great. And that's all I have to say on it.
Well, on that magical note, that has been the Suplah. Thank you for listening. We haven't had any technical issues. And if you'd like to, buy our merchandise, you can at redbubble.com/people/the Suplah. You can buy our merchandise. We have a Twitch. If you type in the Suplah, you'll find us on there.
It's twitch.tv/the Suplah.
I don't know.
You can't keep saying you type in the Suplah and you'll find us. You can't keep doing that. There are URLs. We have usernames. It's the same name as everywhere fucking else, Andrew! Get with the times, you old man! So it's twitch.tv/Suplah. You can find us there. Occasionally this little guy over here, he'll be streaming a couple of little video games for your entertainment, and there's never any technical difficulties when the controllers stop working at all. It's absolutely fine. You can also follow us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter, where we are tweeting out memes, and we are posting things wanting your opinion. What did you think of this week's news? Are you optimistic about Ring of Honor being bought by Tony Khan? Let us know in the comments, and we will read out your response in the next episode. But until then...
Goodbye, I've been Andy Kwan.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you just say, you say your name! You say your name! That's what you do! That's what you fucking do! You've been Andy Kwan. I've been Sam Brooks, and we will see you next week for more Suplah.